What if I told you if you made homemade bread in a bread maker or in your oven or even sourdough bread, that you could get 6 to 8 days usage out of it before it went stale with making one simple change to how you make it? I know that sounds crazy, and I would love to tell you I've been doing this for the last 400 years, but truth is I've only been doing it a couple months. And now that I know that it works, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but let's just say that this method was invented in Asia, which would be Japan and China, and they each call it something different, but it's basically the same thing. What you're going to do is you're going to start with 23 grams of flour and 120 grams of water or milk, and we're going to get those mixed up and stick it in a pan on the stove. So let's go ahead and get that done. $120 grams of water, which is about approximately a half a cup. I went over a little bit, 124 grams, close enough. Then you want 3 tablespoons of flour, which comes out to 23 grams. I went to 24 grams since I was over a few grams on the water. Next, you're going to give us a really good mix. Just to make sure there's no lumps in it. Looks good. Then you're going to stick that in a pan on medium heat. You're going to bring that to 150 degrees temperature. Let me grab my thermometer. Probably should have already had that. We're at 125. You want to keep mixing this up. You'll notice it'll get thicker. We're at 144, 145. Almost turns into like a, looks like mashed potatoes, to be honest with you. As soon as it gets to 150 degrees, remove it from the heat, let it cool down. I'll bring you to the next step. By the way, this is what it looks like. See, it kind of looks like, resembles mashed potatoes. Let me show you what it looks like in the pan. What it looks like in the pan, kind of looks like mashed potatoes. Let this cool down to room temperature or just cooler. So the next thing you're going to do for the recipe that you're making, you can use this to make breads, rolls, buns, anything, sourdough bread, anything that uses yeast and water as the leavening. So we're going to take and subtract 23 grams from the amount of flour. You're going to subtract 120 grams from the amount of liquids, and then you're going to go ahead and continue to make the recipe. So I'm going to start now with this is 200 grams of water. And 35 grams of olive oil. And because our mixture that we made is part of our liquids for a bread maker, we're going to add all of it. I think this is probably cooled down enough. I probably ought to check it. I think it'll be okay. And you want to get as much of this as possible, because remember, you subtracted that from your recipe, so if you don't get all of it in there or as much as possible in there, you could change the hydration level of your recipe. So then I'm going to need 530 grams of flour. Then I'm going to need 40 grams of sugar. And we will need 8 grams of powdered sugar. Eight grams of powdered milk. Did I say that? I think I said powdered sugar. 8 grams of powdered milk. Then we will need 10 grams of salt. I know that I've had some people say that's an awful lot of salt, but you know what? Salt is important in bread making. 10 grams of salt. I don't know why I poured that in my hand. I have a bad habit of doing that when I bake. Then we need 4 grams of yeast. Then you just follow your normal mixing and bread maker schedule. So let me get started on that. I got to get the bread maker over here. And we're done. Whoops, I accidentally powered it off. Alright, so once this is baked and cooled, I will show you the difference that this makes. This will actually work. It works great. Such a simple reason behind it. And you basically can look it up online. Just search for what it's called, and there's other places that will tell you how this works and why it works, but it basically changes the structure of the flour for the whole entire recipe and makes the recipe able to hold moisture longer so that it doesn't dry out and become stale quicker. It's very fascinating, and when I first read about it, I was like, oh, this is gimmicky. But I've been doing it now for a couple months, so that's probably somewhere 6 to 8, maybe 10 loaves of bread, and it does actually work. Very seldom do I actually bake bread that goes more than 4 days anyways, but there are times when I'll make cinnamon rolls, and I'm single, so I don't want to eat a whole great big huge cake pan full of cinnamon rolls in 4 days. It'd be nice to have them, so usually what I would do, I'd bake them, split it in half, put half of them in the freezer, then eat the other half over 4 days. Then when I wanted the other ones, they were in the freezer. But, you know, if you have a way to extend the life of your bread using something simple, water and flour, and you can get double the amount of time out of it before it goes stale, it's worth checking out. So check this out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I promise you will not regret it one bit. Get this taken out. I always stick mine in the microwave for about 10 minutes in the pan. If you leave it in the bread maker, it'll get dry on you, but take it out, leave it in the pan for about 10 minutes. In the microwave is a good place. Alright, so I removed it from the pan, and this is way fluffier, softer bread. If this is your first time trying this method, let me know down in the comments how it worked out for you. If you used this method in the past, let me know your experience with it. But let me tell you what my experience is. Normally, when I bake bread in the bread maker, in the oven, or even sourdough bread, it starts to go stale after about 3 days. You might get 4 days out of it, but very seldom will you get 5. Using this method, you've extended the time out to 6 to 7 days. That's my experience so far. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. By 6 or 7 days, I hardly ever have any bread left over, so I haven't really gone past that. But that's just because I ran out of bread. I probably need to bake a loaf and then just let it sit and see how long it goes, staying fresh. But give this a try. Let me know what you think. You'll notice immediately the bread is way fluffier, way softer, and it just lasts longer. And that's a plus in my book. Worth the 2 or 3 minutes it takes to make the preparation to add to your recipe. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.